I think if we start with ourselves, knowing that we are enough, but we can always learn, and being open to learning. And the only way we get there is by being able to be more inclusive and to have those conversations and to be okay with not knowing.
I've noticed a lot of people getting upset that folks are getting upset, and you look at it, the more that I've, studied psychology, when someone's angry, people take offense to that, right? Or then now they put their guard up because now it's like almost attack mode. But the reality, what I've found is if somebody is upset, and there are reasons to be upset right now, then that means you care. Because think about it, when you don't get upset, you don't care. So if you really look at it, when someone's yelling at you, the best thing you should say is thank you. And then they'll get more mad at you. And I've done this a couple of times. Like, what do you mean, thank you? I'm really mad. And I should see that. And if you were not mad, I would not notice how much you care about this, right? You
Yeah.
care about this a lot. That's why you're upset. And they're like, yeah, better bet I am, and I'm like, I know, I can see how much you care. It's very
Yeah.
evident how much you care. And then when you do that, then they actually calm down. So I'm like, I really am actually being genuine. Thank you for caring so much. Now let's talk about what you care about. And then we can actually simmer it down and actually talk about what you care about. And then going back to the beginning of this conversation, we can end up finding out that we really care about the same
The
things,
same
right?
thing.
We just want
Exactly.
wellness for our family. We want to be able to like sustain ourselves, have good things in our life. And you know what? But so if everyone, I'm just going to say a message, and then I'm going to ask the last question. For me, when someone's upset, if everyone could just take a breath and realize that that person cares, then you can start to have a conversation, and I guess that's what my final question for you today, Melyssa, and we'll definitely have to have another conversation. It's like, I don't know, that made me like emotional right now too. Like, just notice that people care. But I guess I'm curious for you, if you were to give one step for someone, if this is the only time they heard you and they took one thing away, what would that one thing be that you'd want people to start to think about?
Wow, that's deep. Um, you know, I mean, I just have to go back to, I think if we start with ourselves, knowing that we are enough, but we can always learn, and being open to learning. And the only way we get there is by being able to be more inclusive and to have those conversations and to be okay with not knowing. I think sometimes it takes us a while to get to our authentic self. And when somebody asks you a question and you don't have the answer, and just, that's not my experience. And I think a lot of times we just have to learn how to talk to each other. I mean, there's a lot of division going on. But if we just take a step back and say, and I use the analogy all the time that sometimes other people's minds work differently than mine.
Right.
And I always use the analogy, you know, we're going to the same destination, but I'm on Highway 580 and somebody else is on Highway 880. We're getting to the same place. We can go, but we're doing it at different ways, right? And so sometimes we may do things differently or have a different experience. I may see something different along the way on my path, and it creates a different experience for me. But the destination we want is probably the same. We all want to have that same, the life that we want, whatever that is. Um, and so just being able to, to your point, take a deep breath. I don't think most people, I'll say most people, they want the same things.
Yeah.
But sometimes we forget. that we are so similar to each other, that but we focus on all these differences.
Yeah.
And so what we tended to do before is we could actually sit down, have a conversation, and the diversity of that thought would create yet a third opportunity. It's not your way or my way. It's a different opportunity that we've created that has so much more synergy and opportunity than we would have thought.
Right.
And I think right now we're so stuck on your way and my way, we can't get to the synergy to actually raise the level of offering that we're looking for in whatever that solution is.
It's
So
so true. No, it's so true. And we often want to think about wrong or right, and my way is right and your way is wrong, when in fact they're just different,
yeah,
and it doesn't mean wrong or right. And just think, you just brought up the freeways, like whether someone's taking Highway 880 or 580 or wherever you are in the world, whatever road, there's always another road, right? Typically, or you can make a new road. Like, I mean, there's so many ways to
exactly.
get anywhere, and who's to say it's wrong or right, when ultimately that goes back to that Rumi poem. If let's go beyond wrong or right, and there's a garden there, meet me there. And that's ultimately what we're doing. And I often say in my workshops, I do this one exercise, and I say it's time to stop seeing our differences and start seeing, stop seeing what separates us and start seeing what unites us. And that's a choice by what you choose to look at. Hey there, I want to give you something really big. It's called Clear Path to Customers. It's the way that we get the right language to get the right client. I like to call them your wow clients, so that you can have more results, more revenue, more raving fans, and more referrals. And I want to give this to you absolutely free. And all you have to do is go to stevenapolitan.com to check it out, or you can look at the description here. We'll put the details there. As always, remember, choose gratitude and create freedom.